Today, we are going to be doing our fighting game Mount Rushmore. This is about to be sick. What we're gonna do is it's a personal list. So to each their own. It's opinion based who's on your personal fighting game Mount Rushmore. So we're not necessarily gonna be talking about like the fighting game that made it. We're gonna be talking about the player. On my Mount Rushmore, my favorite fighting game player of all time that's making the top left spot at the height of it all, it has to be SonicFox. Sonic bro is just it's low key undisputed. There's been folks who have had crazy reigns of terror in fighting games. But man, this motherfucker trumps. Just it's almost not even close. I just wanted to show you guys this one from Sonic because Sonic was taking over NRS games. It was like when they started winning, their first major win was Final Round in 2012, I think it was, Injustice 1, and after that they were almost unstoppable. So it translates to them being the best at MKX. In the same token being the best Skullgirls player of all time, and then Dragon Ball Z comes out. And so it kind of comes hand in hand. Like Sonic grew up playing versus the best DOA player, dude, and to exist, that was their older brother. So imagine getting big broed and throw poke strike by that your whole life. It's like everybody else is gonna be like you're the big bro. And so this was versus Go One, bro, and this was insane. This was in France. And this was after a long rivalry of these two, man. And look at this. Yo, this was insane. Seeing this live, bro, was one of the craziest things ever, yo. And even though I competed against Sonic, and Sonic was oftentimes, dude, the foe, like the person who stopped me from being the best in the world at times at these games. Not necessarily like Dragon Ball, but Mortal Kombat and whatnot, and Injustice, etc. NRS games. And then to see them just go this crazy in these games, bro, and then the the rest of the world having to feel the pain that we've gone through. Look at this. Insane. 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 And Go One was no sleeper, bro. They have a sick ass rivalry, man. You guys could I have one on my YouTube where I made like a little mini doc on their rivalry, but man, what a crazy ass time in life, yo. And honestly, that's a type of shit that, dude, that's like some gladiator, like warrior shit right there. Those type rivalries. Those are the ones we look back on like, dang, this was insane. Why is Cosmic and Dexy right here? Get him off here. All right, so check this out, y'all. The next person on my Mount Rushmore, the Beast. The Beast, bro. It's almost like you can't not have the Beast on there. Daigo Umehara, bro. One of the classics. Like before there was even like legends of fighting games, there was Daigo. Like Daigo was the classic OG Omega throwback. Like I ended up watching, I think we could even look it up. Let me see if I can. This wasn't a part of this, but I remember when I was little, man. Alex Valle versus Daigo. Check this out. Daigo versus Alex Valle, the throwback, 1998. When I was just getting into fighting games, I remember coming across this. When I was just learning the history of it all. Our local arcade scene, Alex Valle and Mike Watson, the OG Street Fighter GOATs, were some of the ones to run it. And little did I know about even the history of them. So I go back and watch this shit, and I'm like, no way. Some of the OG classic, they were playing in Alpha, yo. And look at them. It was like they were the best in their region, undisputed type shit. And so 1-1, bro. Daigo ended up getting them. But that was what an insane moment, man. Some of like our classic fighting game history lore. And then you have moments like this. And this is probably one of the most well-known fighting game moments of all time. This Evil Menace, he ended up parrying every hit of the attack. And this was just one of the moments that is just like, bro. Daigo, goated. So it's almost undisputed for me. And this is a personal list. That's the thing. This is a personal list of what you feel is on your fighting game, Mount Rushmore. And then, just as a bonus clip, this was a classic. Look at this. Why did Daigo chomp? Bro. They sped it up, right? They sped it up for this video, but this is no joke, bro. Watch. That was the sped up version. This is the not sped up version. Look at how fast he... Bro. There's no way. Combos are not the only thing he hits just frame, bro. This motherfucker will just frame, eat an entire ramen, and get straight back to the grind. He even regurgitated a little bit. Look, when he coughed. No, this is the true definition of a grind. This is the true definition of the grind. There ain't no time to eat, bro. You just slam that shit back as fast as fucking possible, and you get back to hitting low mediums into super confirms. Those one button confirms, they don't hit themselves, my boy. Look at this. And that was an entire ramen within what? 40 seconds. Less than a minute, he's back in action. He says, hey, he's like, give me a minute. And he slams a whole ramen noodle back, and he's ready to play for another 6 hours straight. Look. Daigo Umehara, that's that Daigo Umehara the beast. The man's is a legend. And I just felt like growing up being a fighting game enthusiast, seeing these folks in tournament, these are the folks that kind of shaped me into the player that I became. And so I'm just I'm glad to have them on here, and I'm glad to give them their flowers, even if it is just an opinion-based thing, you know? Because there's a lot of people who've done a lot of amazing things and inspired a lot of people with these fighting games. So it's honestly a beautiful thing. Chat, type 1 if Sonic and Daigo are, they're solid picks. Boom. My third Mount Rushmore fighting game Olympian. It's Snake Eyez. Snake Eyez, bro. Shout out, Omega shout out to Snake Eyez, man. One of the original GOATs, bro. They ended up winning Evo for Street Fighter 2 HD Remix. Little do folks know. They weren't just the Zangief that popped up and started mauling folks in Street Fighter 4 or came through and was in Street Fighter 5. Like, bro got sponsored by Red Bull, man. And this was just one of the footsie GOATs. Like, this was one of the folks that had a contrary playstyle to me that I always, like, I just wished I played more like just so calm, bro. So conservative. And they would just make really smart decisions. Just very paced, man. You'd never really catch them being like a cornball. And what's cool is I'm from Southern California. So when I would go to these tournaments out here, and there was this tournament called Wednesday Night Fights at Super Arcade. Shout out to all the folks behind that. Mike Watson and crew. But they were there almost every week. So when I would go, I would have a list of questions that I would ask these folks, because these are some classics, man. These are some tournament vets. Like Eyez was there, a part of it. Snake Eyez. You had Mike Watson, Alex Valle, a bunch of just top-level players around, man. Justin Wong was around as well during that time. And I was just trying to get better. I would just be asking questions about what they look at when they're playing against zoners versus what they keep their eye on when they're playing against grapplers, or are you going to go in wasting all your meter off rip to get the life lead, or are you playing it conservative and playing for endgame type shit? And he was just so gracious with knowledge, man, and just give me, you know, the best advice he had, which was some world-renowned goddamn advice. So Snake Eyez was just one of them. And this was a sick-ass moment attached to it. My first major was SoCal Regionals 2013. This was the following year, and SoCal had ended up versing Team NorCal in Street Fighter 4. They had a 5v5, and it was heated. They were talking shit. It was up. And look at this. This moment was insane. I've been in a lot of fighting game crowds, but this energy was absolutely nuts. Like, feeling the roar in the air, man, like, is just wild. And look at this. This was the first tournament that when I went here, look, Rufus would go like this. Boom! And he would finish, right? Boom! His super. The whole entire crowd would do that shit. Boom! In unison. It was just some energy, bro. And look. He got Snake Eyez dizzy, right? And Zangief takes a lot to get dizzy, but look. He was still alive. Look at this. Yeah. To this day. And at this moment, that was so clutch. He jumped back to avoid the wake up and even avoid the chip after he knocked him down. Ultra on the other side. That was insane. That was insane. Yeah, that was absolutely insane. Yeah, at this time, he was already team Wednesday Night Fights. Team SoCal had went down 4-0. Snake Eyes was the only person left. He was the only person left. And he ends up beating everybody, bro. And it comes down to him playing versus Huda Man. And look, Huda Man, this was... It's unbelievable, honestly. Look at the mind game he had. Look at the mind game he had. This is why Snake Eyes is on my fighting game Mountain Olympics. I mean... Oh my god, did you see that? Oh my god. That's why he made my fighting game Mount Rushmore. Like, can you believe that? Yeah, that type of shit is just insane to me. Yeah, he deserves it. He deserves it. He deserves it. That was so fire. Shout out to Snake Eyes, yo. And that was, dude, we'll watch some moments after this. That was one of the many moments that he had on some just clutch. And y'all, this one holds a special place in my heart. The fourth person on my fighting game Mount Rushmore, Rio. MK Rio. One of the class Rio. There was not many folks that I looked up to and really looked up to on some, like, Rio was the man when I was getting better at fighting games and just on the come up and just observing the scene, not even necessarily have gone to my first major. Dude, it was like Rio, Perfect Legend, and the crew. They were just killing everybody at it. It was Rio, Perfect Legend, CD Jr. and his brothers. But man, Rio just always stood out because his playstyle, man, was it was a little different. It was like the perfect balance between would make a crazy read and just like, oh, you but then so conserved, bro, so poised, clutch, man. It was math to them. And to play like that is I feel like what all these players in my fighting game Mount Rushmore, they have in common. And maybe I admired it so much because it was on the contrary to how I played, but they had the perfect balance of it too, because they would not only make that read. Like, there was times where Daigo would every single time he got knocked down, he would wake up uppercut, and it's like, dude, that's the scrub option, but Daigo had the read. And there's times where Daigo will just defense up and play the sickest footsie you've ever seen. And I feel like that's what a lot of these what all of my fighting game Mount Rushmore have in common. And that's why this is an opinion-based thing. What fighting game players had influence on you? What was the first match you ever seen? You know? And oftentimes, that's the type of thing that sparks your journey. And you realize how crazy of a journey fighting games are. And it makes it that much more admirable. So, yeah, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the fighting game Mount Rushmore segment. Drop a comment and tell me who your fighting game Mount Rushmore is. And maybe we'll even do a reaction or a video where we watch some awesome moments from the ones that you guys chose. So cheers, guys. Shout out to the YouTube friends, the Twitch friends. You guys are great. Let's go.